Stampers, this is Becky Gifford, creator of thesocialstamper.com and independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I have a tutorial for you of how to make this fantastic shimmer paper. Alright, to make our shimmer paper, what you're going to need is a piece of paper that you want to work with, the color of ink that you're going to work on with your project, a sponge, a brayer, some iridescent ice, Stampin' embossing powder, and Versamark ink, which is our sticky ink that's perfect for embossing. And also, you're going to need a heat tool. Okay, to start your shimmer paper, I'm going to be working in my large powder pals. You certainly don't need to do that. You can work directly on your work surface or a scratch piece of paper. I just want to keep my work surface clean so that I can film more videos for you. I am going to open up my ink pad, just like that. Stampin' Up's ink pads all store upside down. I'm going to dab my sponge on my ink pad. Then all I'm going to do is sponge on my cardstock. This is Whisper White cardstock, but you can use any color that you want to. You could even do this with a solid color of cardstock. I just like the variation that's offered when you're sponging versus just using a plain color of cardstock. But experiment, see what you like to do. Okay, so I've sponged using our new Bermuda Bay ink. Then I'm going to come in with my brayer tool and my Versamark ink pad. And I'm going to ink my brayer with Versamark ink. Versamark ink is this clear, sticky ink that makes a watermark on colored cardstock. And it's also what we use for embossing, because it's going to help the embossing powder stick to your cardstock. I'm just going to roll that on there. Do that a couple of times just to make sure that we're getting good coverage on it. And I can set those things aside and this big tray aside. Then I'm going to come back in with my small powder pals that already has some iridescent ice embossing powder on it. And I'm just going to sprinkle embossing powder over the whole surface of my cardstock. And I'm not going to waste any of it. I can pour this right back into the jar when I'm finished with it. So don't worry about being liberal and just shake off the excess. Might need to tap it a little tiny bit. There we go, set that aside. And then the very last thing I'm going to do is bring in my heat tool. Be careful because I won't be able to talk over this probably. Be careful about this because they're very, very hot tools. But if you need to keep your paper from flying away, I use just like a paintbrush, even my paper snips, basically whatever I have to grab that's close by that I can pin my paper down with without it burning my fingers. And I'm just going to heat this up. You can see it start to melt. That melting effect is really dramatic in person. So you'll know when it's done. It'll all look shiny and sparkly instead of dull and powdery. There you have some really shiny, sparkly paper to work with on all your projects. It's best as an accent piece. I did it as stripes on the back of a card, or I'm sorry, on the front of a card one time for my little niece's birthday party. Another fun idea is to use one of our punches. This is Stampin' Up's new hexagon punch. And I'm gonna open it up like this, and then I can use it to punch out a fun shape and use that as an accent piece on my card. So sparkly. Have fun experimenting, and I hope to see you again soon.